Nani mwenye neema kama ye, na rehema kama ye, habadiliki, mjaribu leo.
Well, a very, very warm welcome to the Goldmine Show. As always, we're excited just to host things show and just to bring it to you. We keep having amazing conversations, and I can tell you today is absolutely no exception. Follow us on the Goldmine Show on Facebook, on Instagram, as well as on YouTube. And let's keep building a great community that believes in the greatness on the inside of us. Man, we've got to keep nurturing it. We've got to keep working at it. We've got to keep bringing it out because we are that greatness. Today's show is amazing. I have an amazing guest. I have looked forward to just hosting these amazing guests, man. It's not very often that you find a lawyer in one. Wakili, an advocate of the High Court, a musician, a recording artist, my friend, and also a banker plus a whole lot more. Gives me such a joy to welcome my friend. I'm the beautiful Lizkamika.
Finally.
So good to have you on the show, man.
Thank you so much for having
Karibu.
me. Asante sana. Asante sana.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. I have looked forward to this moment.
Yeah, me too.
I've absolutely looked forward to this moment.
Yes.
Na CV yako ni refu. When did you do all these things, man?
Let me tell you, I just didn't know how they unfolded, but somehow, you know, nasamanga God is a God of order, so kanipeleka stage by stage, and we're here.
And here we are, man.
Yes.
And we want to go through that stage, man. And I should have let you know, man, Liz is a millennial who's done so much stuff, man. There must be something going on around the millennials, and man, this is a good one right here, man. So, my dear, let's go to the beginnings, man. Who is Liz Kamika?
First of all, anyone who knows Liz Kamika, of course, the Liz transitioned from Eliza.
Right. And you give it swag.
Yeah, I give it swag. Because
Right.
Elizabeth
Yes.
is Eliza. That
Right.
is people from Embu.
Right.
Yeah, I'm originally from Embu.
Right.
So yeah, those people know me as Eliza. So when you call me Liza, like, huh? Who
Who's
now?
that? Yeah.
But slowly there.
So you grew up being Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Right.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
I went to Lions
Right.
Primary School.
Right.
In Embu.
Right.
And then for high school, I went to Kangobiri Girls, I think for one term in
Right.
Form 1.
Right.
And then I transitioned to Uganda. Then I did that for 6 years.
Oh, you
yeah,
did
I did
Uganda.
O-level and A-level, yes.
Tell
in
me about that, man. Tell me about that. And you know, Embu, by the way, was a provincial headquarters for Eastern Kenya.
I know.
It was a big city, massive
Land of
city,
milk
man.
and honey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It has
I know.
produced chairmen of councils of governors and all that.
Totally.
And produced Liz Kamika as well.
And Liz Kamika.
So we go to Uganda. Tell me about that.
Uganda, I think when I was in class 8, when we were doing our finals, there was something about private schools cheating. There's some time there was an issue about people in private schools are cheating. So automatically you are not taken to good schools. I know anyone for 2005 will tell you there was a bit of an issue there.
Right.
So we figured, anyway, so why not try maybe Central? Because the school I was called to, I was like, hey man, no, me, I can't go there.
Which one was this
I
one?
can't even pronounce it. I don't even remember the name. I can't even
You can't even remember the name.
I can't even remember the name. I was like, no.
Yep.
No.
You're not going there, man. Ain't
No.
happening.
I really wanted to go to Kenny Girls.
Right.
But when we went there with my parents, there was no space. So they told me I have to wait until Form 2. So in the meantime, I had to go to school.
Yep.
So my auntie from somewhere said, hey, you know what? Let's go to Kangobiri. Apparently, Kangobiri Girls is very nice.
Yeah, it is.
It's in Nyeri. So I went there for first term. And then we had a conversation. Then my dad was like, you know what? Embu is like a small clan. So everyone else in my class, most of the parents had taken their kids to Uganda.
Right.
So you're like, oh, why not take your daughter as well? So I never knew. Actually, when they were coming for me, I knew I was going to Kenny Girls. So finally,
Right.
I was told you're going to Uganda. I'm like, huh? Where?
We're crossing the borders.
We are crossing the border.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm very adventurous.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, let's do this.
Down with it.
Yeah, I'm so random.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
So I go.
Yep.
Yeah, I do my Form 1 to Form 4.
Right.
I pass well. Then I do O-level. Yeah, and it was very interesting because at that point in time, I wanted to become a doctor.
Right.
But something changed along the way because, I don't know, I had an interest for art. I sat down and I'm like, what do I really like to do? Is it, these things when you want to grow up, you want to become this, but what do I really like?
Right.
So I was inclined to art. So, and that's how I did history, economics, geography, all those artistic subjects. And that's how probably the lawyer came in.
And that was on your A-levels?
Yeah, in my A-levels.
Yani, you're one of the few Kenyans who've done A-levels of your age.
Yes, and I changed schools without my dad knowing, actually.
In Uganda?
Yeah, in A-level. Because I went to do sciences, and then I'm like, no, this is not my thing. To
become the doctor thingy?
Yeah, to become the doctor thingy. Then I was like, this is in the middle of it.
So you actually started the doctor thing?
No, actually, I did sciences. I did biology, chemistry, and math.
Right.
For like almost a year. Like the whole of Form 5.
In the pursuit of becoming a doctor?
In become a doctor. Because you see, A-level, it just prepares you you specialize in what you want to do actually in campus.
Right.
So it makes it easy for you.
Right.
So you don't have to do all these subjects and then, get bombarded at once. So it breaks it down for you. So Form 5, when it ended, I was like, no, I can't do this. So I changed schools.
And what had inspired this doctor thingy?
Because I naturally like to help people.
Right.
Yeah.
You have a big heart.
I have a big heart.
Right.
I like to help people. I thought it was fancy, from the, what was it called? I can't remember the name of the movie that I used to watch when I was a child.
Right.
So it really inspired me a lot to become a doctor. It used to be a good thing, the white coats. It's
Yep.
really prestigious
Yep.
and the stethoscope and all that.
Yeah, hanging all that, yeah.
Hanging and all that. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. No.
So you're like a man of this?
Yeah.
So then you changed the school?
Yeah, I changed schools on my own. So I called my dad. I'm like, by the way, I went back to St. Lawrence. I'm no longer in that school that I went to.
Right.
Because I figured I can't do this anymore. I don't like it.
Right.
So I just can't do it.
Right.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, okay. Okay.
Follow your heart.
Yeah, when you close school, we'll come and talk.
Yeah.
When Maina tells you that, I call him Maish.
Yeah.
He tells you that there is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, kaende. I'm here, what to do? Yeah, so when we close school, so he's like, you know what? It's a good decision. Anyway, you're a noble person. You like to do noble things. You like to help people.
Right.
So I was very confused at that point of what to pick in my career. Then he told me, how about you try law? Maybe it could actually work, because I wanted fashion and design. I wanted these artistic creativity, those two things. I didn't find that. I had people saying doctors don't have a life. Like,
you're always on call.
They're always on call.
Night, day, whenever. Right.
I was like, I'm not going to say that. I know
want to have a piece of my life.
I want to have a piece of my life. On time. On time for me.
For you as well.
Yeah, for me.
Not many people in Kenya understand the question of Form 5 and 6. And allow me just to indulge you a bit there. And it still seems to be a prevalent thing in Uganda, but not as much in Kenya. What is that experience like, and how do we run that space? What do you seek to achieve with the 5 and 6, the A-level issue?
You know what happens in Uganda?
Yeah.
They usually split the 4 years into 6 years. So it becomes easy for you to actually absorb everything. But for Form 5 and 6, they teach skill. We usually had prom. Imagine you're taught this is how you walk into a dinner space. This is how you sit next to your dinner date. They're preparing you, because after high school, definitely you will start dating. They don't want you to start dating randomly and just handling food. You're given a fork and knife. You don't know how to handle. You don't know how to handle a wine glass. If it's red wine, if it's white wine, how do you hold it?
Right.
So of course they never used to use like real alcohol.
Right.
But they used to teach us like, this is how you hold a glass. This is how you hold a fork and knife. This is how you sit as a woman.
Right.
And I think I've carried it till today.
Right.
Then you have this thing where you have like 3 handkerchiefs. Uganda, it's funny. I used to carry like 3 white handkerchiefs.
What for?
So one is for actually blowing your nose.
Okay.
2 is for actually, like, it's like a spare, just in case this one gets full.
Right.
Then the other one, you're supposed to, like, place it where you're gonna sit.
Right.
Because you don't wanna, like, get your uniform dirty and all that.
Right.
So it was we picked a few soft skills. They teach you soft skills because I believe that they really go in, like, handy in your career later.
Right.
Because now you understand how to talk to people, you understand how to, carry yourself.
Right.
Yeah, you just don't carry yourself, Madagodanyo. You know how to groom yourself. They used to bring even salonists, like, in the middle of the term.
Oh, really?
So that your hair doesn't look like, you look like a mad person when you're going home. Like, your mom will look at you and they're like, guy,
what's up with my baby?
What is wrong? Yeah.
So they actually intentionally deal with life skills.
Life skills.
So 5-6 is not too much
skills.
the academic too much.
There is academic.
So it's actually a combination of academics and life skills, the soft skills.
Yes. And that's what I really like about the Form 5 and 6.
Right.
So people might say, oh, you wasted your time, because you see, at the end of by the time I was getting to campus, I was 17, 18, 19. So I was 19. I was much older than, like, the rest of my peers. But at the end of the day, you can tell the difference between someone who went to A level and someone who stopped at Form 4.
Right.
Kenyan system has an amazing academic system, but I feel like they miss out on the soft skills. So you're so hard on, you need to read and score an A.
It's
So
all
that
academic.
you go to, you go to Daystar, you go to, your way, and you make it to campus, do engineering, this. But they forget that part, that this is how you're supposed to carry yourself as a man. You're supposed to iron your shirt like this. This is how you're supposed to fold your shirt in your closet.
Right.
These soft skills, because one day you might get married.
Yep.
One day you want a girlfriend, so she'll get you in Madgodanio if
Right.
you don't have this.
Right.
If you don't have these soft skills.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't count it as a wastage of time.
I actually think that's a seriously great investment.
It's a very...
I mean, soft skills sometimes makes a massive difference.
It does.
I don't even know why it's called soft.
Yeah.
Because the difference it makes is no longer soft.
It's no longer soft, yeah. So you're able to relate with people, even, at your workplace, as in your social circle. You get to find that you're different. Like a Form 4 person in Kenya and a person who was going to Form 6, totally different.
Worlds apart.
Their way of thinking is totally different, because they don't groom you. They just ask you, what do you want to do maybe in life? Then they now break it down into sciences. Is it arts? So if you want maybe to be, like, to do economics, there's some economics there in the arts. If you want to become a lawyer, there's of course the English part, the history part. So they don't burden you with so much of biology, chemistry, I don't know, and that will not help you in campus. Yeah, so
it's not even on your path.
It's not gonna be in your path.
Right. Right.
So you concentrate on, and then also we used to have, like, music, drama, and festivals, so you get to learn about other cultures.
Right.
So definitely if you're a singer, they give you that chance. We used to have, like, concerts here, there. So it used to be really, it's a good thing.
Wow.
It's a good thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure that has shaped you quite a bit as well.
Yeah, it has.
It has had its influence.
Honestly, it has had influence on me.
So you finish, is it Form 6?
Yeah, Form 6.
Then you come back?
Yeah, I come back.
All right.
So apparently we were supposed to go to Makerere, but again, when I chose law with my parents, I couldn't go to Makerere and study that constitution and then come here and start applying the Kenyan law. It would have been very hard.
Right.
So of course I went to UN.
Right.
Yeah, for the 4 years.
Right.
Yeah, and then I went to Kenya School of Law.
Right.
Finished.
And here we are.
And here we are. Yeah.
So this law thing was bathed at home after you had changed into arts campus and all of that, and you had to deal with Mr. Minor.
I had to deal with Mr. Minor back at home. Yeah, because I wanted to become like a fashion and designer and all that.
Right.
Then she was like, and
I don't
a
think it has
musician.
left yet.
Yeah, and a musician.
Right.
And a musician.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like, he asked me a simple question.
Right.
Do you see those babas who usually like sit in a nyama zone, and then you have these people, carrying a black bag with their CDs?
Yeah.
On their backpack. Yeah. Do you want to do that?
Is that what you want to be?
Is that what you want to do?
Right.
Like, distributing your music without a source of income. What I feel you should do, you should have like a backup career, and then now you bring in what you love and blend it with within that career. That would be my advice to you.
Yep.
But however,
Yep.
again,
Yep.
you're free
Yep.
to do whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel
Right.
like he's very liberal, and my
Right.
mom is very liberal as well.
Right.
So they don't have this thing of you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this.
Right.
So we usually have like a conversation, and then they pick from that, and then we see how we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
and I think it's good.
Yep. And no doubt, it enriches your decision-making process.
Yeah.
You're able to make the different considerations.
Totally.
So here we are, man. We go for law and get our law done.
Yes.
And congratulations on being admitted in the bar,
Thank
man.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
So where did the banker in you then kick in at?
Well, it's been a journey, from when I was in campus.
Yep.
I told you, I hate poverty.
Yeah.
I fear poverty like a plague.
You don't want to see it
believe-
anywhere close to you.
No,
Yeah.
I call myself a daughter of a king.
Right.
You know why? Because I am a daughter of a king, like King Jesus,
Yeah.
like he's the owner of all treasures.
Yep.
So why should I be poor?
Right.
No, it can never happen.
He owns 1,000
The
cattle on
Russians
1,000
will
hills.
Never
Right.
beg for bread.
Right.
And that has been my portion, and that has been my motivation
Right.
ever since.
Right.
So I was doing these promos.
Yep.
You know, these ones, the two chicks who usually stand at the supermarket.
Yeah.
Like, hi, do you want Kame? We have this new thing from Procter & Gamble. Do you mind trying this?
Oh,
And then
you've
people were
done that?
Yeah, I remember there's someone who actually passed the aisle one day. I was standing in Naivas, one of the Naivas supermarkets.
Right.
The mom told the small child, wewe soma, usikue kama huyu.
Whoa. And you had that?
I had that. I was so, I was broken. I went home, I'm like, do you think actually standing in the supermarket makes me look like I've not studied? You mean like all these people who are standing in these aisles really don't have a life?
Oh.
So I was wondering, is it that all these people working in the supermarkets, is it that they don't have a life? Is it that maybe they didn't want to study? That's why they found themselves in Naivas, Carrefour, and what? I found that school of thought absolutely absurd.
Right.
I stood there, I was like, you know what? It's fine. When I go home, I think we'll have a conversation and see if maybe I'm in the wrong lane. So I talked to my dad, Mom, I'm like, okay, Mom and Daddy, imagine this person came here and told me, ati, wewe, ati, she told the kababy,
Yeah.
ati, wewe soma, usikue kama
Kama huyu.
huyu.
Man, that must have hit so hard,
It
man.
hit so hard. I was like, you know what? I'm really gonna work so hard. Ideally, this. I promise this standing in this supermarket. I promise it will land me the next job. I kept on telling that to myself until it actualized. Because
But that must have been a very insensitive
it
statement
was
to
a very
make.
insensitive statement, yeah.
Was this after campus, during campus, or when was
It
that?
was between when actually during campus, because first year to third year, that's when I had a lot of time, because I actually had switched to what is it called, evening classes,
Right.
so that at least during the day I have something going on. I
Right.
just didn't want to sit and I don't know, there has just been this drive of I don't want to sit idle at I'm going to class, and then after that guys used to go and do other things, but for me I felt like I really needed to make something
Right.
out of my life,
Right.
because when you look at people in the States
Right.
at 21 they're telling you they've achieved so much.
Right.
So you have to you balance.
Yep.
You have to balance life. You have to have a life, and as well you have to prepare yourself for where you're heading.
Correct.
So so I go home. So we have this discussion. We are like, this is what I was told. So
Yep.
what do you guys think?
Yep.
And they're like, no, me, I think that one had her own stress.
Yep.
Or probably maybe you should try and look at life differently. Maybe you just look at it like maybe it's a stepping stone to where you want to go. So it's teaching you marketing skills. It's teaching you, he's trying to really put in some positive energy, because I was really broken.
Yep.
That passed. After a while, I did quite a lot of promos. I did Nivea, I did Pampers. There were quite a lot.
So that was not stopping. We went all the way.
I went on. So I remember there was this training we had. We usually had trainings in Nairobi.
Right.
So then there's this role play time. It used to be so full. It's like this whole place is so full.
Yep.
So people from different regions. There's Kericho, there's Rift, there's
The whole country is
Kisumu,
gathered.
the whole country is there.
Right.
Because of course all supermarkets like Naivas, those two funny supermarkets,
Yep.
even those small ones that
Yep.
people don't know about.
Yep.
Not funny. Those
Yep.
small
Yep.
supermarkets that people don't know about.
Yep.
So we come. So I remember doing the role play. So, you'd act like the customer, then they're like, okay, now switch.
Yeah.
Now you switch. Now become the customer, become the person selling.
Right.
So I think that project lead was seated somewhere. It was in Lavington, somewhere there.
Right.
So she was like, where is that girl from? I'm like, I'm from Embu. Where do you do your promotions? In Embu. Where? Naivas. Switch. I want her at Sarit Center. I was like, hey,
we can no longer say it every now. Fast lane.
Yeah, because I remember in Embu, you used to be paid like 1,500.
Right.
But when you're in Nairobi, life is expensive.
Yeah.
So, of course, I knew that one shoots to like 2,500 or thereabouts a day. So, it used to be really good money.
Yep.
Yeah, or maybe 800 in Embu, you find someone in Nairobi is being paid like 1,600 or
Right.
1,800.
Right.
So,
Right.
I was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So now I came to Sarit Center. Then I did that for so long, I think 3 years. And I was like, now I want to sit behind a desk.
Yep. Yeah.
I am so exhausted. My legs.
Yeah.
I was like,
because you'd stand all day.
You'd stand all day.
Talking to all different kinds of
Talking
people.
to all sorts of people.
Some nice, some difficult.
Nice. Yeah, some would talk to you. They're like, oh, I wish maybe my daughter would be like you. Others tell you, oh, it's a nice thing. Others would ask you, why are you in law school and you're in a supermarket? You're wasting your time. People have different school of thoughts. And I think I just built a thick skin over time. I'm like, I'm putting food on my table.
Yep.
Why not?
I'm good.
Yeah, because you see, at the end of the day, the pocket money your dad gives you, because he used to pay my rent.
Yep.
He used to, even if I want to have coffee today with Dennis.
Yes.
He'll pay for that coffee. It was not funny. I'm like, Daddy, today I'm going here.
Yeah.
No, because our parents, they used to calculate.
I know.
A week? How many times do you go to school?
Yeah.
What is the transport cost? How much? They give you exact
to the coin. Right.
So I had to find, ways.
Maybe they taught us to live within our means,
within our means.
And a budget as well.
Yeah, if you can't afford coffee, where are you going for coffee?
Absolutely.
Short.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I got tired. So I said, okay, I sat down. I told my sister, now, sis, I wanna change this whole thing. Do you know anywhere? So it's a good thing. She actually gave me a lead to a site. I think this is it Bright
Monday.
Things? Yeah, Bright Monday,
right.
All those things.
Right.
So slowly by slowly, I landed a job at Metropole. What marketing officer?
The bureau.
Yes, the bureau, the CRB. Yes.
Right.
Still, I'm in law school.
Yep.
Yeah. So at this point, I wasn't really thinking in the lines of, am I gonna go to become a lawyer and that and all that, because for internship I had already done my internship, and every law student will tell you this. It is so difficult to get internship. Yes. It's so difficult to get somewhere to to go for pupillage.
Right.
It's so hard.
Right.
As in, KSL is not the hardest part.
Right.
Now, when you come out to the world,
right.
is when now you have to open your mind, because how many courts are there anyway? How many law firms are there?
Right.
So it's either you start a law firm, or unless you know someone in that field, that's the honest truth. Because personally, I had it so hard getting a job, getting an internship. So I had to figure out myself elsewhere. And that's what happens to most of the law students right now. Because I remember even one lecturer told us, in KSL, not all of you here will be wakilis. Some of you will be saloonists, some of you will be taxi drivers, some of you... I'm like...
I'm not going to be none of those.
I'm not going to be none of those. No, that's not my option. I will own a salon.
Yeah.
It's fine. I will own maybe an app like Uber, but I'm not going to become a taxi driver.
Right.
After
That's
6
not me.
years.
No way.
No. But it was, honestly,
Yep.
he was telling the truth. Because he knew, it's just that he didn't know how to tell us the truth.
Yep.
But it's true.
Right.
Absolutely, it's the truth.
Right.
Because we have suffered. Some of us have really suffered out
You'd
here.
have to be too determined to make it.
Yeah. That's
But
true.
Liz, man, your journey of becoming a lawyer also became many things. And I guess for whatever that period of time, whether it was 6 or... I guess you must have drawn so much more than just law in that space of time.
Yes.
Developed many crafts, started out many pursuits, went through school of life.
Character development.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Dealt with mean people.
Yeah. Dealt with all sorts of school of thoughts. Yeah. And how people view life differently. It's funny.
Is this on account of... You then must be a very driven person.
Yes, absolutely. Because I think out of all those things I've gone through, then I had to like figure out like what sets me apart. So if there is law, everyone is a lawyer, everyone has a degree, then what else can I do? So for that job for Metropole, so I did it for like 1.5 years, 8 months thereabout, and then I had to go back now to KSL because that had to be full time because again it's a lot of work. You cannot work while you're in CLE. That's in KSL. That is not, you can't, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Anyone would tell you that. So because you have to research, you have to have this group works, the farm works and all that. Yeah, so after we finished, then we go back to the drawing board, now getting somewhere for pupillage. And funny thing, they don't help you get it. You get it for yourself. You have to find, these law firms. So I got one, luckily. I got an amazing law firm. I went, worked there for a while. I said, what is it called? After some time, I think the farm went down. Things just became, how things go. So we were let go. So when I was let go, then I was like, no, what? Because normally when you go for pupillage, you expect that you're going to become an associate in that farm. So that's how you start your career.
Right.
So me, I was thrown back to the deep end. I go home, I'm like, oh God, now what am I going to do? So I sat down for a while. I even used to switch off the TV. And I'm like, now what am I going to do with my life? Like, I woke up one day, I printed so many CVs. So I used to go to CBD. I drop CVs like in person. I go to
law firms.
To law firms in town, every street. I'm like, here's my CV.
Yep.
If you want me to do this for free, I will. Then if you see my value, then you're going to pay me.
You can take a call after that.
You can take a call after that.
Right.
How about we do this?
Whoa.
It never yielded fruit.
Whoa.
I went back home. I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. Maybe this was not meant to be anyway. So I opened up my, my scope of thought. I figured, I'm like, you know what? Let me do this. How about if I can sit down and figure out what do I like to do? What does Liz like to do?
Right.
1, I like to talk to people. 2, I like to, just engage people, and I like to write. I like to, probably just network with people, be in a space whereby you're giving people information or maybe training, things like that. Or maybe just being in a setup of people and understanding and communicating something that people probably do not understand. Or maybe just serving people generally. So there was a lead. I remember it was in a Bible study. We were actually really praying for jobs and people were getting jobs. And funny thing, the last one was mine.
So you've seen them all go as you keep on waiting.
Yes. So I remember my friend asked me, so this will be a kind of a customer experience job, like a reception job. Are you, he was kind of
not sure
I would do it. Yes. I'm like, yes.
Bring it on, man. Can I report tomorrow?
Anything you want me to do, I will do it.
Whoa.
I'm like, okay. So I go. After all, it wasn't like a reception job. I landed a job at SBM Bank. So it was fantastic. Like, it is not just a reception. You do reporting. There's so much more. You learn from that desk. People come. You deal with so many different people. You deal with reports. You do so much more than just the receiving and giving out letters.
Yeah.
And slowly, after a while, that's how I landed the communications job, because that was mentorship from like my previous boss. And she looked at me, she was like, you know what, actually there's this opening and I think you could fit. Your creativity, the way you talk, the way you write, the way you do things, I think that would suit you much better. So I took the shot and I landed the job where I am right now. And that's how the banker came in.
I'm almost asking myself, did you say I checked on your Instagram page the other day your age, and I'm trying to look for this journey at the end. And just in case you want to know how old she is, man, go to her Instagram page, and while at it, follow her as well.
Yes, please.
Follow her on her IG. Man, she's one of those that publicly put it out there, so you can as well go check it out. But I mean, when did you do all this, Liz?
Imagine, it's been a journey, 10 years, I think. And here we are.
Sounds like a movie.
I know.
Sounds like a
Yes.
So then that's how you joined SBM.
Yes, that's how I joined SBM Bank. And that's how I became a banker.
Right.
Yeah.
And happily being a banker today.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy doing corporate communications.
Right.
That's what I do.
Right.
I shape the image of the bank.
Yep.
Yes.
And
I love it.
Yeah, this has been about 4 years now?
Yeah, no, actually 3 years.
Right.
4 months now.
Right.
Into the bank. Yes.
Right. Man, the bunker, the wakili. And then suddenly we find Liz a different way as well.
Yes.
Rocking our airways.
Yes.
Tell me about that as well, man.
So, this is something that I've always wanted to do, like becoming a
you
musician.
wanted many things, Liz.
Totally. So when I was in high school and campus, we used to like write these two songs. By that time, it wasn't gospel. I won't lie. Why lie?
Yeah.
It wasn't gospel. So I'm writing, like, yes. I used to do these karaoke things, go for karaoke. Yeah, singing has been in me ever since.
Right.
But, that verse that says, when you teach your child in the godly ways when they're young, they shall not depart from it.
Yes.
No, it hits you at some point. You're like, what are you doing? Like, what? My hubby used to ask me, why do you sing for drunkards? How does it help you? How about you use your gift to, serve God? That makes more sense. So I'm like, but I'm not drinking. See, I'm just singing karaoke. Is it bad? I used to really justify that a lot until, when Christ comes into your life, there's a way he changes your thinking. He changes your way of doing things.
So were you doing the karaoke in nightclubs? Or
Yeah, in nightclubs.
Give us a bit more detail about that.
Yeah, in nightclubs. Like, let's say, for instance, like if you go to somewhere like White Sands, let's say,
right,
like
Mombasa.
in Mombasa.
Right.
In the evenings, there's on Saturdays, they usually like hold karaoke nights.
Right.
So you go there, you're like, it's a family. You justify it as
it's a family thing.
Yeah. We are all there. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's not there.
You grab your mic and you keep on going.
Yeah, you sing Whitney Houston. You sing, I'm like, you do that for so long. You come here, you go, which is this place I used to go for karaoke? Let me think about one that I used to.
In fact, think about two.
I think I used to. There's this. It was called Rumors by then.
Rumors.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yes.
Right.
So we used to. There was a stage.
Yep.
Like there. So you go. Then you're like, oh my God, Aki, if my dad's friend or my mom's friend sees me here, hey, I am dead.
Mr. Minor receives a call.
Mr. Minor receives the call. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Because what took me there? It's the singing.
Right.
So after a while, that life, you get tired of it. You're not drinking, but you get tired of it.
So you used to do these weekends, weekdays, or journeys?
Weekdays, because it used to be, I think it used to run on Mondays.
Right.
Yeah, so every Monday you'd find, a gig there, here. You get some friends thereabout.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you go, maybe you just have a good time there. But after some time, that life stops being fulfilling.
Right.
Because you now start, okay, now I've sung all the Whitney Houston songs in her whole album. You've sung Adele. You've sung Mariah. So now what next?
What next? Yes.
So I was like, you know what? I have to change my way of thinking. So, and doing things. So I just prayed. I'm like, God, man, I'm sorry. I don't know how to come back, but I am sorry. I think it's time. It's like, it's usually a meeting point, because when your Holy Spirit starts convicting you, you now start becoming, you become, a place where you don't have rest. You're always thinking, you wake up guilty, you're doing things so that to make other people happy. But for you, honestly, it doesn't work for you anymore. So
there could be cheering and enjoying, but that's not where you're.
Yeah, because there used to be those competitions.
Right.
Yeah, so when you win, they give you like that whole bottle of, I don't know, it's a vodka or what.
Right.
So they enjoy.
Yeah.
So it was, at that point, of course, there was sometimes I used to indulge, but...
So you'd get your kivodo and that's how they reward your career.
Yeah, so, that's a free drink.
Yeah.
That means you're in campus and you don't have to spend money.
Right.
So, yeah. So, in fact, be like, hey, Liz, where are you?
Yeah.
How about today?
Yeah. So how did it eventually change for you?
So honestly, my journey changed on this one day.
Yep.
I remember it was on my birthday.
Right.
One of the birthdays.
Yep.
I did it. I missed out on a dinner date.
Right.
Like with my boyfriend then.
Yes.
He got so much feelings. It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Well, I can only imagine, man. He wants to treat you for your birthday, and then you don't show up, man.
I didn't show. Why?
How?
Because... So I called myself to a meeting, you know, najita kamkutano, you sit somewhere.
Pale nyume attend.
Yeah, pale nyume attend. Like, what are you doing with your life?
Right.
Like, this is how you miss out on husbands.
You're even missing dates on an important day, even.
An important day.
Right.
Yeah, so particularly for the drinking bit, I have never been really like a drinking person, but you kind of get into it because of peer pressure, and you're like, oh, it's not bad, it's kidogo too, you know, it's kidogo too.
Right.
So
you'll always find a way of justifying it.
You'll always find a way of justifying.
Right.
So I decided now, I don't know, that conviction usually comes. I can't explain, but it usually just comes, and when the Holy Spirit starts talking to you, you'll start feeling you're not restful.
Right.
You're like, you're going, I don't feel like going. You start bailing on people. You start, the transformation doesn't happen. It's not instant.
Right.
Because it's a journey.
Right.
So I joined a worship team.
Right.
You know, very quickly, you know, you're like, you put yourself somewhere you know that you won't have temptations. You know, how I did it was I substituted that karaoke beat with maybe singing in church, thinking that probably I would navigate somehow.
Right.
So I decided to shelter myself there. It was it was the easiest way to do it, because there you find other people who like singing like you.
Right.
You know, you have the same way of thinking, same way of doing things. So with time, that life usually just
it flows.
It flows and it comes.
So this
out.
New company also begins to influence you a certain direction.
Yes, a certain direction. But that doesn't mean that I will not say, Ati, you completely lose out on all the friends that you had on that side. Because what are you doing? I mean, when Christ came, he sat among unbelievers.
Right.
So you try and live a certain way that they will emulate you.
Right.
So either way, they will either try and follow your way of doing things. Some of them, evangelism is different. You don't have to like sit down and tell someone, oh, receive Jesus Christ in Jesus' name. No, but you see, when things work out for you, someone will be like, how about maybe I try? This is way of doing things. Somehow you will have to.
There's something about it that I like.
Exactly. So how about you start working on yourself first, and then now bring on the rest on board. Because what normally happens with most Christians is that I don't agree with is like, oh, I've stopped this life, so I have to stop with those friends. I mean, Jesus loves them too. You know, for me, I don't belong to that school of thought. Honestly, I believe in the transformation, because even for me, it wasn't instant. Because as much as you're in church, I won't lie. There's sometimes you'll be like, Ama, maybe I just one time. I will not do it again.
Just this one more time. Just this one more
time. Yeah. But as life goes on by, you get tired of double dealing. You're like, where are you? Are you here or are you here? You have to make a decision. At the end of the day, you have to make a decision.
And there's something innate in you that says, now we need to decide.
Yeah, we need to decide. Where are you?
And you know, Liz, the reason why I probably have spent a bit more time there is because I have seen us talk a lot about the finished products, or the products that look closer to finishing than when we first began, if you understand what I mean. But I don't think we ever talk about this other side of what that journey looks like and all of that stuff. And I think it's important that we don't just show the glam. And I mean, at some point we've got to also say, man, I was messed up at some point, and this was who I was, because there are many people who are in that situation and they would want to know. So how, Liz, man, how did you navigate these challenges? Because I'm there, man. You talk about those character things, man. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you can share that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so you have to make a decision at some point, like, which way do I want to move? Which direction am I moving?
Right.
Because you see, when you're lukewarm, ideally the Bible says God will eventually spit you out, because you're not picking a side. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do Jesus, and you know what, Jesus doesn't have to be boring. Jesus' side doesn't have to be, you know, it's not at ushamba as they call it. No, you can still have fun with Jesus. So I started engaging maybe in gigs for Christ. Maybe you just do for, these having friends over and chilling at home. Maybe having a cookout. You have friends. You know, you just find other ways, traveling. You know, you find other ways other than clubbing that makes you totally get off that life. So I would never judge someone in that life, because at the end of the day, transformation usually in every person's life happens differently. You cannot force it on someone.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
it's only the Holy Spirit who can convict, and get you to that point. So even at that point for making the decision, it's not by power. As the Bible says, it's not by power, it's not by might. It is by the Spirit.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's how I navigated.
Right.
And of course, you have struggles here, there. But Christians, we do struggle with a lot of things.
Right.
And many people hide and don't want to come out because you feel like this person will judge me, this person will do this. But trust you me, if you really understand God, God is not complicated.
Right.
Pitson said,
Right.
God is
Complicated.
Easy complicated. God seem complicated.
Right, man. Right.
Just have, kuwa na conversations na God. I'm
Right.
struggling with this.
Right.
God, tufanyaje kaa chini hapo. Let's talk.
Right.
Let's talk.
He's not like a headmaster waiting to just spank on you.
No.
Yeah.
You talk.
Yeah.
Even when you whisper,
Yep.
he hears
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he sees what you're going through. So, kama uko hapo and you're in that transition place, you're wondering like what you've made out of your life, una feel uko, you're lost. It's not over yet. God is there. Try him today. I mean, he'll do it for you.
There we go, mjaribu.
Hey, mjaribu leo.
Man, you've got to hum for me. You've got to do a bit of that song for me. Man.
Definitely.
That song is just like a drag wild line.
Oh, thank you.
Massive tune, man. I mean, we would
Asante.
play that song all the time with my kids in the car. Man, it was our ride to as I'm dropping them to school, man.
Yes.
Big song.
Thank you so much.
Big song, man.
Thank you.
Oh, man, that song was just absolutely amazing, man.
Asante.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I think you want to
So-
do it a bit. No, you've got to do it a bit, man.
Sawa.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
nikikwambia jaribu leo ni nani mwenye neema kama ye na rehema kama ye habadiliki jaribu leo.
One line can never be enough,
It
man.
can never be enough, Paula, guys. I have flu. Forgive me.
But they can go to your YouTube
They can
channel
go.
as well.
Yes.
And check it out there. And in
Yes.
case you've not subscribed to her channel, man, you know what to do. Man. You know what to do. But what
Yes.
inspired that song?